I'm here in front of City Hall because it's time to talk to Portland's mayor. We're going to have a wide-ranging conversation. We're going to talk about everything from gun violence to homelessness to the future of the city's charter, and also the comeback of Portland. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Always nice to be able to talk with you. Violence, big topic on the community's mind. I was checking the call logs last night. I believe there were 5 shootings between roughly 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. What do you make of that?
Well, there's no question. We're experiencing an epidemic of gun violence and homicides in this city. And it's not unique to Portland, but I really don't care what's happening elsewhere. I'm concerned about the escalation in gun violence here. And as a result of that, I think we've taken some solid steps in recent months. We have the focused intervention team now out there working to prevent and intervene in gun violence. That's a branch of the Portland Police Bureau. They now work alongside the new enhanced community safety team. That's 22 officers, sergeants, and lieutenants who focus on investigative follow-up. Importantly, we also have tighter relationships with both the district attorney as well as our federal partners to make sure that people who are engaged in these activities are prosecuted. I will say this, I expect gun violence to escalate this summer as it typically does during the summer months. And my team and I will be monitoring it. And if we need to add additional officers to the focused intervention team, I'll be prepared to do so.
I know we've asked before and the answer has been no, but was it a mistake to make the gang enforcement team go away because you had to recreate it?
Well, we'll know. The good news is we will be able to tell if the reassemblage of this new team, the focused intervention team, which frankly I think is enhanced in terms of its capacity to intervene and prevent gun violence, if we start to see the numbers drop off quickly, we'll know that that was the reason.
I and others have been critical in the past that you and the police chief don't go to some of the big murder scenes. Is there a reason you don't go to them? I mean, why not say this is important to me and to the city and I'm here?
Pat, I love you, but that's just flat out wrong. I have gone to those scenes as recently as 2-3 weeks ago. I was in Dawson's Park. I do go. I don't go to all of them, but I do go. And the reason I don't go to all of them is once the scene is secured, that is a live investigative crime scene. And having an elected official tooling around there isn't necessarily the best thing for the investigative follow-up. But I have attended, I've spoken to family members, I've spoken to people who've been directly impacted, and I have always put out the word that if family members want to talk to me, I am always available, and a number of them have taken me up on that.
Okay, homeless issues. Public very much fired up about that. You've, as you mentioned, had to take some emergency orders to try and streamline and centralize things. How do you think that's going?
I think it's going really well. The first emergency directive that I passed was to remove people from high crash corridors, dangerous locations where it just isn't safe to pitch a tent.
And I will say that we just went by the Powell Boulevard off-ramp from 205 where someone was killed a couple of months ago up on the shoulder there, and there's maybe one tent, but there used to be a lot more. So we have seen some progress there.
Yeah, and we'll, part of the difference is we're actually going to go back and we're going to make sure that those sites are maintained. So thanks for the insight. But it's not safe. I mean, just a few weeks ago in Salem, a number of people were killed when a car ran off the road and went right through a homeless camp. That is proof that moving people out of those high crash corridors makes sense, even though I obviously took a lot of heat for it. The second directive was also really important. That's around making sure that we can site sanctioned, managed camps quickly, as opposed to having to go through all kinds of hoops and hurdles that we typically do today. And the third was to, and probably the most important and the least talked about, was to create a war room, to create a street services coordination center where all of our city bureaus come together every day and talk about where the hot spots are and where we need to intervene and where we need to clean up, where we need to remediate, and where we need to connect people with services. And that is already in the works. That's going to be launched next week, is my understanding, and I expect that to have a huge impact, just in terms of how the city addresses homelessness issues.
How about downtown? Still boarded up windows? City employees are somewhat slow to come back. Are you satisfied with the pace of recovery here?
I'd like it to be faster, to be honest. I wish that there were more people coming downtown more quickly. That includes city employees, but I understand the reluctance of people to do that. On the other hand, I have been downtown for the last several days. It has been very busy downtown. Foot traffic is clearly picking up. It is still hard to find a parking place in downtown Portland, and if you want to come into town this weekend and eat at a restaurant, you better have a reservation because they're going to be packed. There's a lot going on, and we've seen a lot of big activities of late. The Winter Lights Festival was hugely successful. We've seen other big events here in the city of Portland be very successful, so I'm confident we're on the road to recovery.
And why not bring the city employees back earlier? Why not a month ago?
Well, they're unionized, and so this isn't a decision that I get to make by fiat as mayor. This is a negotiation that we have with our collective bargaining units. We now have a scaled approach for people to return to the city of Portland. I've also offered some ideas around incentivizing our employees to come back earlier and in larger numbers, and I'll be making some announcements about that soon. But I would like to see the city lead. It's important for people to see that the city is confident and has hope for the future of this city. That will help encourage the private sector to do the same.
And thanks to Mayor Wheeler for talking with me. By the way, when we talked about the charter and the future of the city, he said he supports any charter reform, that anything is better than what we have now. I look forward to doing interviews like that more often with the mayor.